Okay, okay, okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the inaugural stream of the Roundtable 2 Qualifier Tournament. It is time for the fabled qualifier results, followed up by our Round of 16 Mappool showcase. I am Dio, and I'm joined here for the first stream of the tournament with Miles. Welcome in, Miles.
Hi, Dio. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully, I'll be a little less pixelated in a second. Do need Wi-Fi catching up with me for a sec. But yeah, obviously, it's been a stressful weekend for a lot of these players trying out for one of the now premier 1v1 tournaments in the OSU scene. And I'm just excited to get straight into these results with you.
I definitely am as well. We had a lot of people play qualifiers. We had about 108 players go through the qualifiers. And so quite a lot of people going to be disappointed today. That said, we have 16 people who are going to be very happy with how they did, and a few in particular who I think are going to be very surprised at their overall seeding, given how they were talking about things beforehand. So just a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing on the stream today. We're going to be going through everybody from 108 through 49, just listing off their names to tell you that you did not qualify and to try again next year. And then we'll spend a little bit more time talking about everybody from rank 48 through rank 1. And then after that, we'll switch over. I'll be joined by Takani for the Mappool showcase, which will only take us about 20 minutes. We actually have a Mappool showcase video for this tournament, and we will for every week, because doing long-form showcases takes a lot of time, and we want to make sure that you get the information that you want quickly and that it's interesting to watch the entire way through, even if you're not really involved in map pooling as well. So stick around after the showcase, or after the qualifiers results, even if you're not super interested in map pooling, you'll still be able to get a good time out of the Mappool showcase. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and just start off. I'll read off all the names of everybody from place 108 through 49, and then we'll switch over to our results proper and start off with seed 48. So I'm just going to read off names relatively quickly here. From 108 to 49, My Angel Nico, Damas, Mebura, Romix, Havel, Zanzibar, Knight, Forite, Top 1 Sumin Fan, Stumphole, Minato Aqua, Bubwing, Derpy Fox, Nymphy, Merzik, Yogu, Huzek, Generic, Ramfi, Juan, I Also Love Uma, Julinko, Kamikaze, Mokokoman, Woodsy, Rayam, Xpeak, Tikanen, Kirby Twister, Sync HD, Brody RU, The Real Amon, Arigato, Gionfoil, Doomsday, Gexibody, Schwartz, QLCO, Lonq, Karyu, Raul, Tile, Mirsu, Potluck, Kanochi, Distant Waves, Gaby, Zenoides, Bad Pug, Leakate, Kahest, Easy Chalk, Nightbeat, Sawada, You're Cute, Antonio, Drock, Sungoku PL, Lisperi, Flames Tear, and Hanori at number 49. And now that that's over, we're into seed number 48. Miles, why don't you start us off with seed number 48?
Hello, hello? Mic check.
Nope, still not on. Oh, there we go. I heard my voice again.
We're back?
All right, we're in. We are
Oh my
in.
god.
All right.
We're finally here. All right, now, number 48 now to continue. Player hailing from Uruguay, Rebo. Going to be clocking in at 48. Very strong aim player, very strong hard rock player. But takes a little more than that to get into the qualifying round for this tournament, unfortunately for him.
So unlucky for Rebo. Try again next year. And on to number 47, Vesprit from Canada. Great score on Nomad 2, great score on the Hiddens, and great score on DT3. But the rest of the score is definitely not up to par. So overall solid attempt, and well, we all see the rank. So try again next year with a better rank. Maybe that cursed you this year.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I don't see it. I've never seen it in my life.
Yeah. All right, on to 46.
46. We've got CatBurger from Denmark. Notably got third place in the COE live LAN tournament this year. Got a very strong score on Nomad 1, number 6 on that map. But you're going to need that on almost every map to qualify for this tournament. So fortunate for CatBurger, not going to be qualifying here. But nice try, come back next year. We'll be waiting for you.
Number 10 on Hard Rock 2 as well, also worth pointing out. Very solid scores on 2 maps, but not enough. And on to number 45, somebody else who was at the COE tournament, but actually as a commentator, Wowie. Very good scores on the Hidden Pool and on Hard Rock 2, but that's about where it ends for Wowie, as the rest of the pool just too difficult for him to advance forward. Definitely a more niche player, so expected that more niche players don't advance in a 1v1 where only the top 16 get through. Similarly, for our seed number 44, another relatively niche skill set player.
Yeah, KHZ on the other end of the spectrum, very strong stream speed mechanics player. Obviously, you can see that with his best score being DT2, getting number 16. But you need to do more than that. You can't be a niche player to go forward in 1v1s. So obviously 44 is not terrible, but maybe improve a little bit on aim, come back next year, maybe get some higher scores.
For now, we're on to seed number 43. And this is actually the first player with an average score above 400,000. It's going to be Ampy from the United States. Relatively strong scores on the Hidden Pool, and not bad scores on the DT and Hard Rock Pool, but the Nomad Pool in particular really dragging down the average score for Ampy, everything under 400k there. So not going to be able to make it in with 4 of those. How many maps did we have? 13? 4 out of 13 maps not being very good scores in that Nomad pool.
And now on to player number 42, Tebby. A longtime player from Singapore, very active tournament player back in his day, coming back to the Roundtable, getting rank 42. Probably expected as a pretty well-rounded player, but maybe not up to the difficulty standards that this tournament brings. Obviously, you see very average scores across the board on Tebby. Not really many signs of a strength or a weakness. I think the highest score being number 27 on that HD2, or no, number 23 on the Nomad 4. But nevertheless, 42nd is not a bad placement, and maybe if he plays the game a little more, he'll get a little higher next year. So thank you for trying out.
Yep. And now on to number 41, Mlaw, who was actually at the Roundtable last year. Mlaw had a really, really good showing at the Roundtable last year. Was 3rd in a Battle Royale lobby where only Utami and Emrek were the top 2. So really kind of sad to see Mlaw not making it in this time around to the qualifying tournament. But who knows? Mlaw is from the United States after all, might get a repeat invite. We'll have to see how it ends up later this year. Very good scores on the Nomad 2 and the Hard Rock 1, but again, that's where those good scores stop for Mlaw, and you need more than that to advance. So good luck getting invited instead to the actual Roundtable Mlaw. And on to the next seed.
Number 40 is going to be Sherg, also known as Shark, was one of Germany's new OWC prospects this year, performed very well in that tournament. Obviously getting rank 40 in the Roundtable qualifier. He got some good scores across the board on Hidden 1, Nomad 1, Hard Rock 2, a little bit in every mod pool, lacking a little bit on the DTs, but still not doing too badly. I think he might have underperformed a little bit here. I think on maybe his best day, Shark could have qualified for this, but maybe a little burnt out after OWC. Don't really know. Can't really speak for him. But still, number 40th is not bad. And now on to number 39.
And number 39 going to be Jackson from the United States. Very, very good DT pool overall. Ranked number 16 in the DT pool generally, and number 9 on DT2. But again, it's just, this is the story for so many of these players between 48 and 32, is that they had a couple of really good scores, and then the rest of their scores were all subpar for what you need to qualify into this tournament. So better luck to Jackson next year, maybe as a more well-rounded player. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that Jackson did have such a hard time with some of the other pools, given his history in tournaments. In 1v1s in particular, facing players like BubbleMan in grand finals of 1v1s before, but unfortunately not going to be his tournament this time around, so better luck next year. And on to another player that many people may be surprised about for placement.
Ablaze, lots of history with Ablaze. We all know that at her peak, Ablaze could have qualified for a tournament like this, maybe if she were having a more active year in Standard, but obviously not the case right now. Obviously, though, did perform extremely strong, getting number 2 on the Hidden 2. I think that's the highest performance on any map we've seen so far among players. But other than that, pretty average across the board. No other real standout scores. I guess number 18 on Nomad 4, but even that average at number 18 won't get you qualified here, I don't think.
No.
So yeah, better luck next time, Ablaze. Maybe put 1,000 play count into Standard per month, and I will expect you here next time.
That's savage. That's savage.
No, it's real. It's real.
All right, on to the next one. We're on to number 37. Another potentially disappointing placement for quite a few people. Exarch, again from the United States. Very, very good scores on the Hidden mod pool and on the Hard Rock mod pool. Number 17 on Hidden 1 and Hard Rock 2. Number 7 on that Hidden 3, Carry Me Away. Another very, very good map placement. But again, the no mod and DT pools and some of the other Hard Rocks and Hiddens really giving Exarch too much trouble here. Just got done with Ablaze. We're on Exarch now. So Florida Man does not qualify for the Roundtable this time around. Maybe in a year again where Exarch has actually started to become a lot more active recently. So I think for a lot of other tournaments this year, you can look forward to seeing Exarch start popping off again. Yeah,
as far as I know, taking a break from tournaments since the OWC tryout, so pretty sure it's their first tournament in about 2 months, so can't really blame her there. But on to number 36. We've got Saiku hailing from New Zealand. honestly. Haven't seen much of this player until this OWC, but proved to be a very good asset for that New Zealand team. In qualifying, I think their highest ever in OWC this year. Very strong on some mechanics maps, getting rank 2 and rank 5 on Hard Rock 1 and 2. Very impressive in that pool. But obviously, if you look at the hidden pool, that kind of tells the story for why Saiku isn't ranked higher. 93 overall in the hidden pool is pretty rough.
Yeah, that number 1 in the Hard Rock pool, though, is kind of absurd. I don't know what's going on with the score for Hard Rock 2. I think that 7's supposed to be after the 84 at the end of the Hard Rock 2 score. Hashtag blame Peppy for that one. I don't know. But yeah, incredibly good overall Hard Rock average with the double FC on Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 2. It's just, you know, well-roundedness in 1v1s. It really is like that. You sometimes just need to be well-rounded to qualify in these 1v1 tournaments, but definitely somebody, based on these results, that I think more people should look into picking up for team tournaments later this year when you can afford to have a couple specialists on your team for things like that Hard Rock consistency. And on to now our next player after Saiku. Again, another probably disappointing placement for BashiMan.
Another tournament for BashiMan, obviously winning OWC just about a month ago, showed up to be a very strong gimmick player, and obviously we didn't really see the scores maybe we expected from him on a lot of those gimmickier picks in this tournament in particular. Number 5 on Nomad 1 is kind of weird if you're thinking of his skill set, but otherwise fairly average across the board. Lower end on DT, obviously not really a speed player. Rank 18 overall on Hidden, 38th on Hard Rock. I think he would have expected better from himself on those 2 pools in particular, but otherwise 35th is no slouch. He's only about 12 or so, no, a little more than 12 placements away from qualifying, so pretty all right. On to number 34 now. Mighty Door.
Mighty Door. That is actually comma. That is actually comma. So, yeah, it name changed to AI Mighty Door, but comma, again, really solid on the Hard Rock and DT pools. Number 15 on DT3, number 12 on Hard Rock 3. Number 12 at only 440k, by the way. That map definitely was quite difficult. Compare that score to the DT1 score, for example, being number 31. Honestly, not a bad performance from comma, but I think, again, and number 11 on Nomad 4, by the way. Number 11 on that map is very solid. I think, again, just a lot of people are going to be disappointed with their performance overall, and that it's just very hard to qualify. So I know a lot of players were shooting for top 32 or top 24 or something like that. But better luck to comma next time around or in another 1v1 tournament as we move on to the last player before our top 32. It's going to be Rundy.
Rundy, very strong up-and-coming player from Germany. I think personally might make the German OWC roster next year. Known for his speed, and it reflects decently well in this result, I think. Number 18th on Demystify Feast, not bad, but also very strong scores in the Hard Rock pool, getting number 12 on HR2. That is a very good score, but other than that, kind of average across the board. Another player suffering to below average hidden scores and also below average Nomad scores. Number 50 on Nomad is not going to help him out. But number 33 for a player who's basically known for his 4-digit performances is kind of absurd, knowing some of the players we've gone past, Dio.
I think a lot of the former rank-restricted tournament players are going to be very happy with their tournament performances in this qualifier, especially given the scale of this event. With that said, let's go on to our number 32 for this tournament. Another German is Ombre, who is number 32 this time around. A relatively well-rounded performance outside of the Hard Rock pool. 29th in Nomad, 27th in Hidden, and 34th in DT. But that Hard Rock pool really cutting into the average score and the average placement. I mean, number 47 on the Hard Rock 2, and an average score just over 400k in the Hard Rocks, really not helping it out. Overall, relatively solid performance from Ombre, but again, this tournament is only top 16 for qualifying, which makes it so much more difficult to get in. Usually it would be top 32 for a lot of other 1v1 tournaments, but this is going to be a relatively short tournament at just round of 16.
Yeah, and even then, like, these 16 players that qualify, they're going to be really competing for 2 spots. This is a qualifier for a live tournament in LA, which just adds even more stress to it. You have to perform in so many occasions to make it to this tournament, which is why it's just so stressful, even though, in my opinion, the star rating of this pool might be a little bit low for open rank. But nevertheless, on to number 31, we've got Hakui Koyori, also known as Ruto. Very strong player from Indonesia, has been a mainstay on their OWC roster for a very long time. Very consistent player, as we can see by his crazy scores on every single aim map in the pool. Look at that. Number 9 on Nomad 1, number 7 on Hidden 1, 13 on Hard Rock 1, number 2 on DT 1. This guy aims. Now...
Had a relatively solid, I mean, good scores on the aim maps, but again, then number 77 on Nomad 2, number 56 on DT2, number 55 on the Hard Rock 2. So just, there's that specialist debuff coming in for 1v1. So good try to Hakui Koyori, and better luck next time. And now on to number 30. It's gonna be Hibiki, one of the members of OWC Hong Kong, and one of their 4-digit World Cup members and 3-digit World Cup members as well. Plays for basically all the country-restricted tournaments for Hong Kong. Very, very good hidden player. Number 1 on the Hidden 1 at 888k, if that tells you anything about the difficulty of that Hidden 1. And number 6 overall in the Hidden pool, with number 10 on the Hidden 3 as well. But the entire rest of the map pool also exists, and that is only 3 maps out of 13. So Hibiki not going to be advancing into the actual bracket stage.
Yeah, Hibiki's been such a strong hidden player for so long. I've seen this guy in tournaments in 2019 and 2020 dominating on that pool. But as Dio said, number 45 on Nomad, 48 on Hard Rock, 47, tells the story about why he's ranked down at 30. And now on to number 29, we have Fiery Rage. Very, very long in history tournament player. The winningest OWC player of all time. Going to be down at seed 29 here in the Roundtable qualifiers. I do not see his Nomad 1 score. Rank 8, rank 3 on Gas, extremely impressive. And then the number 8 on the Hidden 3. Some very strong scores for Fiery Rage, but then again, his traditional weakness down in the double time pool, rank 63, 93 on that DT2, is going to be the reason why he's seated so low. And I think he's going to be disappointed in that, but with such a crutch in that pool, it's going to be really hard to get into a top 16 filled with top tourney players who can do every mod pool. So now, thank you for trying out Fiery. Good luck next time. And now on to 28.
And in seed number 28 is going to be Defi from Hungary. And I have been made aware that it looks like the DT pool rankings are actually scuffed right now. The overall rankings are still correct. Those are all actually just straight up from the results sheet. But there was an issue with porting data into the laser bracket.json. So we're going to redo some of the DT rankings for laser. In the meantime, we're going to keep on moving through all of the other pools. That DT2 score is actually the DT1 score, and the DT3 score that you see is actually the DT2 score. Defi scoring 271k on the DT3, but everything else here is correct. The number 19 on Nomad 1, number 17 on Nomad 4, and number 9 on Hard Rock 2, all fairly good scores for Defi, but again, a lot of the rest of the map pool unforgiving in how difficult it is.
And now on to number 27. Here we have Nick1324. Very strong Canadian stream player, may I add. He is such a beast on these stream map leaderboards. I'm sure you all have seen some of his scores, and that reflects a lot in some of his results here. Number 15 on Nomad 2, number 7 on DT2, with some added strength in the Hard Rock 2 and the Nomad 3, I think might be a little bit of a surprise to some players. But Nick is a strong tournament player, but then as all the players who have not qualified for this tournament, there's a weakness somewhere, and you see that number 58 on the Hard Rock 1, number 69 on the DT1, I think, very unexpected. I think those are 2 maps where he definitely wanted to improve, and I think if he did, he might have been up multiple places in this ranking.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunate for Nick to not be able to make it in, but Better luck in other 1v1 tournaments and later this year. And now on to seed number 26. It's going to be Rafis, the old Polish legend, former #1 player and former #1 contender alongside Shigatora. Not going to be making it in this time around, largely off the back of the hidden scores here. Relatively good performances across the DT pool for Rafis. 795k on the DT1, 898k on the DT3, or DT2, excuse me, and 454k on the DT3, but still not enough to make it in considering the hidden scores and the hard rock scores. Very, very good no mod and DT performance for Rufus though. So still obviously somebody that just about anybody would want in any team tournament, but not quite what it took to make it into top 16 this time around.
Yeah, Rapis got no single digit placements on any maps, but you just see his average scores on everywhere except the hidden pool are just so strong, basically, apart from Hard Rock 2. He's just always been this type of player, but unfortunately not enough to qualify for this iteration of Roundtable. And now on to number 25. We have Hades. I think this might be very unexpected to a lot of people. Also, Hades is rank 189. I still know this guy is a 4-digit. What is... He's improved so much recently. Getting number 25 in this qualifier, he just has some very strong scores across a lot of pools. Getting, obviously, number 18 total on the Hard Rock, getting number 6 on a map like DT1. But it's just those outlier scores bringing him down a little bit. Like the number 40 on the Nomad 1, 42 on the Hidden 1. I think the aim map's giving him some trouble along with the higher end speed. But nevertheless, it was a really good try for Hades, and I hope to see him try again next time and in other open rank 1v1 tourneys in the future.
Yeah. And I think we are going to take a small break for a minute. We can switch back over to the commentator cams so that we can get the correct DT rankings for everything. As we have a fixed bracket.json. My apologies for that. Small bug in the code, and suddenly Miles is also with some bugs in the code, you know?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
He's looking real sharp. There's a lot of sharp corners in there, you know?
It looks so fine on my side. I hate my internet.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, it happens. But I think the results so far have been relatively... some of them have been surprising. I think a lot of people would have expected Rafis to place a lot higher. I think some people might have expected players like Exarch Ablaze to place higher. I don't know. Thoughts so far on some of the placements that we've had while we wait for things to load in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously going to be hard for anyone to get into the top 16 here because it's all contingent on a single run through this very difficult qualifiers pool. And I think we have a lot of players that have the capabilities of making it into here, but some of them just obviously getting maybe their lowest run on a map, or, you know, any extraneous issues could cause them to get a very low score on any map, which just has tanked so many players. Like, the outliers on single maps just do so much damage to people's chances of qualifying. And the people who have qualified are the ones that have avoided those calamities, I guess. Those who have performed well on the day. And although I have called this qualifiers pool extremely difficult, I think it is very accessible for players who play open rank tournaments. It's not too hard. This Nomad 1 is not too hard. None of these maps are too hard. For I think any of, like, say the top 70 tourney players in the world, think of them. I feel like they all have the capabilities to FC every map in this pool if they really put their mind to it, which is why it was so competitive. You look at, I'm looking at the overall results right now. You just see very small differences between the players who qualified and the ones who didn't. It's just like very small percentages, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. So just as an update, it is going to take probably about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to load in the new bracket.json, given that it has to reload all of the data. So we're going to be here for a little bit talking about some of the previous placements. May as well talk about some of the kind of more in-depth information while we're here, given that now we have the time for it. So may as well. Gonna go ahead and I remember we had the number 2 score on the Hidden 2 pop up from Ablaze. I wanted to look and see if we had any other really interesting results for some of the players who were seeded a little bit lower. For example, players like Sawada, who might have gotten really, really good scores on some of the speed maps.
Yeah, Sawada, obviously one of the premier speed players in the game, played really well on those maps in OWC and in other speed tournaments. Like, he's always been on a really good speed cup team. But obviously in this tournament, let me just control F his name. Number 45 on DT1 here. That is kind of a blunder for Sawada, who's meant to be very dominant. Obviously, he got rank 13 on DT2 and rank 14 on DT3, which are both good scores, but Sawada, I know the Koala. The Koala, my boy, he wants to get rank 1 on those maps. He's able to do that.
Yeah. So a bit of an underperformance for some players like that. I will say one interesting thing. Leah Kate, seed number 60, actually also number 3 on the DT1 for this pool, which again kind of goes to show, you know, you cannot just be good at one thing and get into 1v1 tournaments like this, but still worth picking up tournaments like that, or players like that for team tournaments and such.
Yeah, I think this pool was too easy for Sawada and Leah Kate.
Real.
If this pool were only like 10-star speed maps, they would both be like rank 1 and 2.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. I did want to talk about CatBurger a little bit. I wanted to look at CatBurger's results a little bit more, just given how well CatBurger has already done in places like the COE 1v1 tournament. Really tough time actually on things like the Nomad 3 and Nomad 4, where I would have expected CatBurger to do a little bit better, especially given how good of an aim player he is. Number 6 on the Nomad 1, and relatively good hidden scores, again, number 27, 28 on hidden 1, hidden 2, but it seems like a bit of an underperformance on some of the maps that he's usually relatively good on. So unfortunate there.
Yeah, obviously CatBurger in that COE tournament was besting even some of the best on those types of maps. Although it was on kind of a flawed scoring system, the laser score V2 was kind of questionable. Also, I'm gonna try some Blackmagic camera work. Hello.
The Blackmagic made it worse?
Oh my god,
that made it way worse. Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's always been fine on the Course Ace round, or not round.
Yeah. Yeah, on Full Circle, there. It's always been fine there.
It's just weird.
It's just a little odd.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
But yeah, CatBurger, he's obviously an extremely strong player on, honestly, not speed. I would take that guy on not speed against almost any player apart from the best of the best on those, but obviously maybe underperforming a bit. But in his defense, I think it's hard to be motivated at his tier of player in a tourney like this, because when you're in an open rank 1v1 against like Malashevsky and InnerCamping and like Zudinator, like I'm like CatBurger's really good, but like I don't know, the name value just makes it really hard to like give it your all, I feel, because just like when only 16 qualify against the best of the best, like I feel like I just go in for fun. Well, I feel like a lot of these players did.
You say that, but there is one name that I'm actually 2 names that I'm really interested to see how people react to up at the very top, because they were not people that I was expecting to see up at the very top. No spoilers, but
I'm so hyped.
there were a couple people up there. There were a couple of people up there that I think are going to make things really interesting in this tournament, especially given their initial matchups. So I'm very excited to see where we get. By the way, we have passed the point of 500k average score with Defi. Seed number 28 was 504k average score. Big jump up, actually, from the last few players. The highest average score before that was Haku Koyori with 472k. So it's an over 30k average score jump between some of the other seeds and seed 28 plus. So I'm curious to see. There's a couple of other places where we get jumps like that. I'm curious to see the reactions to some of those, because staff reactions to some of the average score jumps have been really funny.
All right, I'm going to try restarting my cam on this website because it has always been fine on Full Circle. This feels absurd.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you who are eliminated from the tournament through qualifiers, if you are interested in doing replays or playtesting for the map pools, you can contact me on Discord. Eliminated players from qualifiers are allowed to participate in that way, but I'm really only interested in players who actually participated in qualifiers or are otherwise top players. So if you are interested in contributing to the replays, let us know. We'll be happy to have you.
Okay, I think I'm cursed.
I think so too. Yeah. I think you're definitely cursed. That's okay. It's not like we can't see you, right? You're just kind of full Walt Jr. mode right now. The extra blur. You know?
you did not just say that, Dio. I can't believe you. Okay, yeah. I'm just an SCP. I'm an SCP right now. Whoop, now you see me? Now you don't!
Oh my god. Oh lord. We should be just a couple minutes from getting back into it, by the way. I was told we had about 2 minutes before we resumed 2 minutes ago. So I'm hoping that we are ready to go relatively soon and we can get back to it. Again, for those who may be just joining us, we're taking a short break. We had some errors with how the DT scores were displayed. DT1 was displaying scores and rankings from Hard Rock 3, and then DT2 and 3 were displaying things from DT1 and 2, respectively. But all of the overall placements were still accurate, and the overall seedings were still accurate. We're just looking at fixing how the DT scores are displayed, especially since we're getting pretty close to top 16 now. We're going to resume at seed number 24, so definitely wanted to make sure that the seedings displayed were accurate for everything in the top 16 and top 24.
Yeah, I've seen tournaments in particular that have messed up the messed up the calculations of the overall results, and then release them, and it's a whole mess that we do not want to have on this tournament.
Yeah. All right, okay. It looks like we are ready to go, so we're going to go back into seed number 24. Well, seed number 25 is Hades, but we have already talked about Hades, and it looks like everything is indeed fixed up. I'm just going to highlight a row here in the sheet and just make sure that we are good. But seed number 24 is Nahus, and yes, everything is displaying properly now. Awesome. Seed number 24, ranked 25 global. So if you take that, top 25 global is needed to qualify. Or so. Very, very good scores on the hidden and no mod pools, as expected of somebody like Nahus, who's a relatively good specialist player for the Polish OWC team, but not as good a scores when it comes to things like the precision map, like the rhythm map in Hard Rock, and like the DT maps.
Yeah, unfortunate for Nahus, he played extremely well in OWC, but obviously we saw why he was benched for the maps he was benched on. Can't be good in an entire pool sometimes, but it was a good try. Come back next time, and good luck in your future tournaments, Nahus. And now, on to 23. We've got JustMan, a mouse player hailing from France. He is very strong at Hard Rock, but I think he maybe low-rolled his scores on Hard Rock 1 and Hard Rock 3. I know him as a player. He could have definitely done better as those maps. We see his potential on that HR2. That is a #1 score. Super juicy. And the #2 score on Nomad 2. Those scores are really high, but yet another player getting completely tanked by the hidden pool. Number 71 on that is just so destructive for his overall chances. And you see he still got number 23 with the 71 there. If he just did a little bit better on that hidden pool, he might have qualified even, but unfortunately for him, going to be 23, but nevertheless, it was a good try, and thank you for playing, JustMan.
I think that's the first time we've seen a #1 score on any map, by the way, with a #1 on Hard Rock 2 for JustMan. Second #2 score as well on Nomad 2.
I think Hibiki got #1 on HD1.
Ah, you're right. Yeah. So second #1 score, second #2 score also for JustMan. And we'll definitely be seeing more of those, right? There's lots of very good players left up, and another one's coming right up for seed number 22. It's Window Life from the United States, up-and-coming top player, global rank number 13, #2 in the United States. Very, very good player overall. But the hidden pool and particular maps in other pools, that Hard Rock 3 especially, really tanking the overall placement for Window Life. I think with a better performance on the hidden pool, even in spite of the Hard Rock 3, Window Life still could have made it in, but not to happen this time around. Number 13, 12, 14, 10, 11, and 10 on, that is 6 maps, top 15 on 6 maps. So very, very strong overall performance. Half of the pool, basically, top 15, and rank 20 on a couple of others as well. But losing out on so many points on the hidden pool is not something that you can have happen.
Yeah, the hidden pool is really taking prisoners on these last few players. Number 63, that is tragic. But nevertheless, Window Life is a very high potential player. I've only seen him play a few tournaments so far. And obviously getting number 22 after only playing a few tournaments in this is very impressive. And I'm very excited to see where Window Life goes. Maybe he even has a shot of making OWC this year, which would be very cool. Now, though, on to seed number 21. Now we're getting into the danger zone. Riot. Now you're getting really close to people who've qualified. Riot, also known as El Cookiesi Mexicano. Surprisingly getting a good score on that hidden one. I never knew him as a hidden player, but obviously he had a fairly decent hidden average. In fact, the averages of all of his mod pools were fairly decent, but fairly decent was not enough for him, unfortunately. Number 20 on the DT, 17 on the Hard Rock, 25 on Nomad, 26 on hidden. He could have done just a little bit better, and he could have qualified, so it must be really tragic to see for Riot, but nevertheless, good attempt, I think.
Yeah, very, very solid placements on a bunch of different maps for Riot. I actually was somebody who did not think that he did very well on the hidden pool with the scores that he got, especially due to the high density of both hidden 1 and hidden 2, but nevertheless still doing pretty well on it. Again, that Hard Rock 3 proving to be really difficult. 580k for number 6 on the Hard Rock 3, 600k for the number 6 on hidden 1. Both of those relatively difficult maps. But I think a lot of this just comes down to the Hard Rock 1, the hidden 3, and maybe some of the no mods in that hidden 2 for Riot. It's just a couple of maps at this point that make or break whether you qualify or not in this tournament. And as we get closer and closer to number 16, you're going to really start to see just so small marginal differences between the players who qualified and did not qualify. And, well, each one of them is going to be heartbreaking, so let's get on to the next one, the next set of heartbreak for Rudge.
No.
Rank 22 global and seed number 20. Number 6 on the No Mod 2, number 14 on Hidden 1, number 4 on the Hard Rock 1, 10th overall in Hard Rock, 13th overall in No Mod, but that DT pool for Rudge really doing work to keep him out of qualifying alongside that hidden 2 placement. Only 198k on the hidden 2 for Rudge, not going how he would have wanted it. And it's to a lesser extent, but you can still see that the players who are just barely not qualifying are just barely not well-rounded enough to actually make it in. You've got very, very good placements on 2 or even 3 mod pools, but the remaining maps are just not good enough to get in.
Yeah, and it's really tragic for Rudge because I don't even think he's like a poor DT player or anything. He's really good at DT. I've seen this guy perform really well on DT pools. I think he stomped my team in Waffles draft just like yesterday on DT. Like, he definitely could have qualified, and that is something that we're going to say for every single player between now and 16. Like, Rudge, everyone has got it in them, and unfortunately just missed the cutoff. But nevertheless, good attempt, and we'll see you definitely in tournaments in the future, my man from Old Jersey. I have to respect you as a resident of New Jersey, so cheers.
Yeah. Unlucky for Rudge, and I think unlucky for everybody from here up to seed number 16, as we only have seeds 19, 18, and 17 left until we get to the top qualifying players. These next 3 kind of going to be kicking themselves for any low scores, so we'll start off with our next one, seed number 19, NathanRam. Global rank 262, but a very, very good tournament player.
Yeah, NathanRam was a part of the resurgent Filipino roster this year in OWC, getting a fairly high placement for their standards. I think maybe Philippines' highest OWC placement ever. He was one of their all-rounders. and he's definitely well-rounded if you look at these results. He's got number 8 on Hidden 2, as well as top 10 on 2 of the DT picks. But just another player to get killed by outliers. Look at that, number 54 and 55 on Nomads 1 and 2. Those are the 2 maps that prevented him from qualifying, and you can't really look anywhere else, actually.
No. Maybe at the Hidden 1 as well. If you had a better score on the Hidden 1, it might have been doable for a qualification. But, yeah, unlucky for NathanRam. That's all you can say for the players, you know, from about rank 20, 24 down through rank 17 is just unlucky. It comes down to a good or bad run on the day. If you have a good day, you probably qualify, or if you have a good run on 1 or 2 more maps, you probably qualify. So really better luck next time, Nathan, because that's all you can say. It's really, really tough. And
right.
Same for our next player. Seed number 18 is our very own Chillier pair. Better luck next time, man. Number 57 on Nomad 2, number 69 on Hidden 2, number 53 on Hidden 3, number 47 on Nomad 1, number 40 on Nomad 4. How'd this guy get number 18? Well, he's number 5 on DT3, number 6 on DT2, number 14 on DT1, and was number 2 and number 9 on Hard Rock 2 and Hard Rock 3. Very, very good scores for the entire last 5 maps of the qualifier run, but that first half is a little brutal. It's a little brutal to be able to qualify.
Yeah, definitely fitting for the second least lucky player in this entire qualifier. Obviously 18 and 17. 17 is going to be the guy who we all have to feel really sorry for, but Chillier, man, come on. You're a good Nomad player. You could have done better. Why, Chillier? Why? You were so close.
How's his highest Nomad score on Nomad 3, by the way?
I have no clue.
What is his best score
Dude,
on Nomad 3?
This is like the least Chillier qualifier performance
Chillier pair,
ever.
why is your Nomad 3 score the best?
Chillier, why did you get 484k on Kimeta Yo hand in hand? I'm pretty sure you've FC'd that map like 18 times, and you'll tell me that.
Man.
It's just tragic, Chillier.
Yeah.
Right,
tragic for Chillier, and tragic for our last player outside the top 16 as well. Seed number 17, Decayton.
Oh my god, Decayton. He played... If you look at USA's OWC win over South Korea in that very intense grand final, he was basically their third performer after Utami and Fancy Lad, who are basically the 2 best players in the US. So to be third behind those 2, you expect everything from this guy. And obviously he did bring it, kind of the opposite of Chillier, getting really good scores on the Nomad pool, 5th overall. But the Hidden pool taking yet another victim, rank 35 there. But being ranked 17, you could literally up him like 1 or 2 places on almost any map, and he might make it in. Like, let me look at the percentage between him and the person at rank 16.
Yeah, it's 0.4. It's 0.44 max
God.
average. So if you multiply that by 13, you have like 5% more score. What is that out of a million? Well, that's about 50,000. One map, 50,000 score higher, and he probably makes it in. One map, 50 to 100,000 score higher, and he makes it in. One miss on the Hard Rock 1, or accuracy on the Nomad 4, and this is a qualification.
The least lucky player. All we can say.
Yep.
The least lucky player. Nice try, Decayton. You are a beast. You will do well in other tournaments this year, so do not be down by this. I will not let you. Now, on to the first qualifying player at seed number 16. Swick! Wow.
Yes. Swick with a nail biter of a run. That difference between Decayton and Swick that we were just talking about, well, guess what? 50k less on any of these maps, and Swick probably doesn't qualify either. But very, very good scores on lots of particular maps. Number 10 on Nomad 2, number 21 on the Nomad 3, number 15 on Hidden 3, number 11 on Hard Rock 2, and 16 on Hard Rock 1, and number 5 on DT2, number 15 on DT1. Couple of maps that are very obviously bad picks for Swick in this map pool as well, but a lot of maps that are very good picks.
Yeah, I don't really know why some people are just so bad at Kimetto Yo hand in hand, but 450k on that and still qualifying, that means he's got to be really good at everything else, and he definitely is. He was one of the candidates to be on USA OWC in that, I guess not really famous runoff tryout that they had for a mechanics player that ended up between Swick, I believe TJ, and Decayton, and I think one more player, but not remembering it. But nevertheless, Swick is very strong and definitely got some very good scores to be able to qualify here at 16, but he's got a very tough road ahead of him. Gonna have to face the #1 seed of this qualifier first in the tournament.
Yeah, that's a tough one. On to our seed number 15. The next player in line is ReedCat, qualifying in at seed number 15 for the Roundtable qualifier. Number 1 on Hard Rock 1, as expected of ReedCat. Very, very good Hard Rock player. Number 33 on Hard Rock 2 is a little bit less expected, but still a very good overall Hard Rock placement at number 9. And number 4 overall in Nomad, number 2 on Nomad 3, and number 5 on Nomad 4. So very, very strong placements on the Nomad and Hard Rock pools, and a solid DT2 play as well, despite the rest of the DT pool not being his cup of tea. ReedCat, perpetually bad at hidden, less than 100k on the hidden 2, but making it in anyway, because the rest of his qualifier went very well.
It is indeed the ReedCat experience to get under 100k on hidden 2, yet still manage to qualify in a very competitive tournament, but that just shows how strong he is at everything else. Look at all those single-digit placements. He got 3 of them on Nomad 2, 3, and the Hard Rock 1. It is going to be looking like another good tournament for ReedCat, but like Swick, he's got to face the number 2 seeded player in this qualifier, which is going to be rough for him. But it should be a good match nonetheless, because ReedCat is a really strong player, and that is something that anyone who has followed the OSU tourney scene at all can tell you.
And that is going to be Bartek as our number seed 14. Seed number 14. Rank 10 on the hidden pool and rank 10 on the DT pool. Bartek is back, putting out fantastic scores on hidden and double time, pretty much all of the time. Bartek's been around forever. He is extremely consistent in what he is good at and what he is able to do on those maps that he is good at. Number 2 on that DT3 shows you exactly what type of player Bartek is. And number 4 on both the Hidden 2 and Nomad 3. Very, very strong aim control player, very, very strong gimmick player, very, very strong reading player, but also pretty solid at speed. You can't get 900k on Final Answer unless you're a very good speed player. And that's what Bartek tends to pick into. Not bad scores on 2 of the Hard Rock maps either, but very clearly not a Nomad 1, Nomad 2 gamer.
Okay, first, hey Bartek, check Snapchat, and also, why is Kimetto Yo hand in hand a negative indicator for if a player qualified or not? He got 434k on this map. I think maybe it might be like one of those long time mental block maps, because this map has been in a billion tournaments since it's been released.
It just might be. It just might be. I don't know. I feel like it's just weird to see so many of these players not actually be able to play Kimetto no Yo hand in hand. But we're gonna ignore that and move on. We're gonna move on to seed number 13, which is Neneric. Look at that DT overall seed. Look at that Nomad overall seed, and ignore the middle part. Just ignore it.
Yeah, Neneric, obviously, he's one of the best DT players in the game. We're just going to expect this out of him. That number 1 on DT3 is so strong. Over 1 million score on that map. That map is extremely hard to hack, and getting over 1 million score means he got something like 97.5, which is very impressive on that map. Other than that, number 1 on Nomad 2 with almost a mil score means he almost SS'd. And he did well on Kimetto Yo hand in hand, so even though he didn't really do well on the hidden pool or the Hard Rock pool, getting number 3 on DT and 6 on Nomad is going to make him a hell of an opponent, because he is very good.
Yeah, he had 99.61% accuracy on the Nomad 2, by the way, tied with both JustMan and Amamiya Kokoro, and had a 98.5% FC on the DT3. I think that's the only FC, or no, that's actually an A rank. He did not FC, but he had 98.5 AC anyway, and over 1 million score. So,
oh my god.
No FCs on that map somehow, and NANI gonna be able to take it with good AC and a 1 miss, it looks like. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely going to be avoiding the hidden pool and some of the hard rocks for NANI, but that's to be expected for a player like him. And now, we get to go on to our seed number 12.
InnerCamping. So I'm pretty sure anyone who's followed the tournament scene in the last couple of years knows about InnerCamping. He has just exploded onto the scene in 2020, 21, and 22. And now looking to make a strong start to 2023, getting seed 12 in the Roundtable 2's open qualifier. Look at that hidden performance. He is a guy who can play the hidden pool.
InnerCamping hidden player.
Dude, this is how it's supposed to happen. Why did he get number 30 on Hard Rock and number 1 on Hidden? This is not allowed.
Why is he 650k on DT1 after FCing Wizard's Tower? What's going on, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just shows the variation in this type of map pool. Like, look at that. He got number 1 on the AR8 Hidden, number 2 on the other Hidden. And I would think of this guy as one of the best Hard Rock tourney players in the game, yet he got number 44 on the Hard Rock 2. It shows how hard it is to really be good at every map, but when it comes to these juggernaut all-rounders in the game, InnerCamping is a guy that you have to look at. And even if he does slip up some places, it is never, ever going to be hard enough to make him not qualify for a tournament like this.
I also want to point out, InnerCamping is number 2 on Hidden 1 with 683k. Remember Hibiki was number 1 with 888k?
Yeah.
That is a 200,000 score gap between number 1 and number 2 on that map, and no FCs on that pick. So, still extremely good score from InnerCamping on that map. It's just, I think that map was a little bit difficult for a lot of players. I have to say, maybe AR9 Hidden is more difficult than it seems in 2023. Just a well-rounded score overall, though, for InnerCamping. I mean, top 15 in Nomad, and yeah, sure, 30th in Hard Rock overall, 24th in DT overall, but there's still picks for him in those mod categories, and if you know anything about InnerCamping, it's not like he's going to play those mods badly either, so very difficult opponent for anybody facing up against him, despite being seed number 12 here.
Yeah, he's still going to pick those Hard Rocks into you. Don't look at that qualifier score and think that's indicative of his pick style, because you could switch the number 30 and the number 1 and I would believe it, but
yeah. All right, we're on to seed number 11 now. Another Polish monster from the OWC team this year. It's Mustache, country rank number 4, one of the top 4 Polish players in the world, number 2 overall on the Nomad pool, number 2 on Kimeteo Hand in Hand, number 7 on Gario Tensei, number 8 on Reality Purge, and number 15, still a top 16 score on Gas Gas Gas. And that's the kind of performance it takes to get you a really solid mod performance overall. And even then, the Hidden Hard Rock and DT pools aren't looking too bad either. Number 20 on Hidden, number 27 on Hard Rock, and number 27 on DT, with still multiple top 20 performances on other maps in this pool, like Hidden 1, Hidden 3, Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 3. And not bad scores on any of the DTs. So, yes, a little bit of specialty for Mustache, but very much a well-rounded player who is not going to be really bad at anything besides maybe the low AR and precision picks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really know just how well-rounded Mustache is, but I think this qualifier really does a good job at showing it. There's not really any sort of pick that really feels out of his realm. Despite the low scores on the precision and the AR8 Hidden, I do think those are maps that he can access if he really wants to on certain pools with certain maps. But we saw this guy in OWC. This guy was one of the reasons why the Polish team got so far. They were able to get top 4, their best performance since winning. And Mustache was probably the second or third reason why that was able to happen. And those Nomad scores, man, getting number 2 on the Nomad pool Nomad pool obviously being the most important pool in any tournament because there's the most Nomad maps compared to any other pool. That makes you pretty scary. So really good performance from Mustache, and I'm really excited to see him in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I've been watching Mustache since 2020 when he played in one of my seasonal 1v1s, before Perennial existed, before Corsace came back. So this guy's been around for a while, but I think in the last year or so has really made a name for himself as one of the best tournament players out there. Very excited to see how he does. And now we're on to our seed number 10. It's going to be Demonical from Singapore, #1 in the country, and very, very solid overall performance. Look at that! Look at those 3 mod performances, and don't look at the hidden pool. Number 10 in no mod, number 2 in Hard Rock overall, and number 11 in DT overall. That is 1 mod pool that you are going to ban out twice if you are Demonical, and every other mod pool you're looking to abuse people on. This is a very, very scary player with extremely good scores on tons of different types of maps everywhere in the pool.
Demonical is just a beast. If you watch OWC, he was a lot of the life that Singapore roster had. He was in for basically everything, and he was top scoring also almost everything. And as Dio mentioned, being able to have such control over 3 mod pools is just so scary in a 1v1 sense, because like he got number 47 on Hidden, he has that big crutch, but so what? Because he can fight you on damn near every other map in the pool. And even in some instances of Hidden pool, like there can be like rando hidden maps that he will be able to play, and he can just ban out the other ones. Like in a 3 hidden pool system, you've got...
To be fair, it's 4 hidden in this tournament, so...
It's 4 hidden, okay. So you've got 4 maps, and if any of them hit on him, they instantly become a trap pick. And Demonical, when you go down against Demonical, he's just a crazy player. You cannot lose points against this guy, or else he will take advantage of you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and that does it for our bottom many. And now we are into the top 10 pretty clearly as we get into another 1v1 tournament god, Chiconi. 2nd place in Charlie's Perfect Math class last year that ran alongside the Roundtable, taking down players like White Cat and Utami to get to that 2nd place spot. And for good reason, very, very similar performance to Demonical in that, ignore the hidden pool, and he is extremely scary on pretty much any map that pops up. The only outlier there looking to be that Hard Rock 2, but everything else extremely good scores on, and in fact another #1 score for Chiconi in that Hard Rock 3, 817k on that map.
Yeah, when Chiconi exploded on the scene during CPMC, I don't think I've seen like this type of emergence in a 1v1 scene since like Tebby in YSC like 2019 when he took Bubble Man to tiebreaker. Like this guy is the real deal, and he is so good, just like Demonical, as you said, just so good on the Nomad, Hard Rock, and DT. And the hidden pool, it's literally just like Demonical. You just don't look at it, and he's going to be able to ban out some of the hiddens. And I even think that outlier score on the HR2 isn't really indicative of anything, because we saw him win that pick in CPMC a lot of times. He can play precision. You can't look at these qualifying scores and be too sure about these players' skill sets. This guy can give you a fight almost anywhere in the map pool, obviously. And
well, he's definitely gonna be banning out that hidden in his first matchup. As we all know, seed number 9 faces off against seed number 8 in round of 16, and this is one player who is going to have relatively good scores on the hidden pool. Let's check out our seed number 8. It's Xylus, who is going to have a tough time with this matchup. I think it's going to be tough for both players. Xylus has the hidden advantage. Chiconi has some advantage on some of the other maps, but these two, honestly, are so well-rounded. Look at the overall mod placements for Xylus, by the way. Nothing stand out like Chiconi's DT number 2, but number 7 on DT anyway, number 16 in Hard Rock, number 15 in Hidden, and number 11 in No Mod, with very good scores no matter which mod pool you look at. It makes it very tough to ban against players like this unless you yourself have a weakness that is very abusable like Chiconi does. So that first matchup's going to be really interesting, but Xylus in general, just a tournament beast, has been around for a few years at this point. Really, I think made a name for himself in Nick's Winter Cup 2021 and has been grinding out tournaments ever since. Captain of Canada's OWC team for 2 years in a row now, and looking to advance into the later stages of the Roundtable qualifier tournament, but is going to have a tough bracket. Even if he makes it through Chiconi in round of 16, you're up against seed number 1 in the quarterfinals if you do win that match. So it's a tough bracket, but Xylus does have that well-roundedness to take advantage of any weakness that other players show.
Yeah, he's definitely got the tools to get past Chiconi with the hidden mod, but I think that this qualifiers pool might be a little too easy to determine how a match between those two would go. Obviously, They are both top-tier speed players, and to be able to evaluate how that would go with just these like mid-7-star-ish picks, it's going to be rough. And I don't think either of those players are going to really want to pick DT into each other just because of how strong they are at it. But otherwise, I'd say Xylus's advantage in hidden might be countered by Chiconi's advantage in hard rock. And then after that, it's just a dogfight in the no-mod pool. And then it's just whoever's going to want to pick DT first. It's going to be a great match, and I'm super hyped for that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to see how their matchup goes. And I'm also really excited to see how the matchup between Demonical and our seed number 7 player goes. Our seed number 7 player in the qualifiers is Enri, another tournament god who has seemingly come out of nowhere in the last couple of years, formerly known as Keeg. Enri started as a solo player, just climbing up the PP rankings, but really started taking interest in tournaments within the last year, especially with, I think, has told me personally that it started with Perennial 2022 and coalesced in a win in the Course Ace Open for Enri earlier this year. So a very, very scary tournament player. And, not as great of a no-mod performance, I think, as they would have wanted, but the hidden performance, the DT performance, and ignoring Hard Rock 1, that Hard Rock performance as well, very, very solid scores on tons of different maps for Enri, with lots of very high placements, which makes it hard to abuse any weakness that Enri has, and makes it easy for Enri to pick strengths into other people as well. Very, very strong players at particular things have a really good time in tournament matches.
Yeah, Enri is one of those players that just kind of popped out of nowhere, as you mentioned. Obviously, I mentioned the resurgent Filipino team in OWC earlier with NathanRam. Enri was the catalyst of that. He was their super player, and it kind of reflects in these scores. He does well in every single mod pool. Even if there are outlier scores, he is able to do well on those picks in other scenarios. He's one of those players where you can pick any mod into him, and you can't really be sure it's the right pick because he just could be good at that map. He's one of those players that I'm just so confident can grasp almost any map that you try to put in a map pool that I'm kind of surprised he qualified only at number 7. He definitely could have gotten higher. Extremely strong. Maybe improve a little bit on that Despair of Elfaria score, but otherwise, number 7, I'm expecting Enri to give a fight to almost anyone, and I wouldn't be surprised if he even comes out in like the top 4, or maybe even has a chance to take one of those coveted top 2 spots that guarantees you an invite to the LA tournament.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Enri does throughout the whole year, honestly, given how strong he was in tournaments last year, and I think this was a good start. I mean, everybody above this mark is an extremely good tournament player, but I'm really interested to see the reaction to our next player, because I think a lot of people, if you looked at the signups, would not have expected this placement, but it is something that I am really glad to see after OWC last year.
Here we
Our
go.
seed number 6 player in the Roundtable qualifiers,
The GOAT!
is the GOAT, Lolo234, also known as Ebi Suzawa Kurumi, or I'm a Burger Fox.
Or play
This
offline.
player, yeah, Miles, take it away. I think you've played with them too many times for me to take the spotlight on this one.
Yeah, too many times, a grand total of once, but I've seen Kurumi in tournaments, I think, since like 2018. And I just played my first tourney with him maybe like a month ago. But I've known him for such a long time, and he's worked so hard to get here, man. He plays for Team China in OWC, 4WC, 3WC, for years in a row, plays every single one of those tournaments, just trying to bring China further and further. And he himself has gotten so much better in the process. Look at those hidden scores. Once again, another player where, like, I don't even think hidden is Kurumi's best mod. He just got really good scores on the hidden maps. #1 on Carry Me Away on the hidden tech map. That is so good.
That FC is absurd, by the way. That's a full combo on that map. That is absurd. I have to check the leaderboard for that map, but that is a ridiculously good play.
Yeah, Kurumi popping off in almost every mod pool except the no mod pool. Can't really say what happened there, but nevertheless, FCing Final Answer. Another thing about this player, that is an FC on Final Answer, DT3, with 915k, which means he FC'd with something like 93%. This is the definition of a combo gaming player, where, you know, you'll go through a tournament map pool, you'll practice maps, you'll find one pattern where you kind of have to cheese it to hold on to combo. I watch this guy play on stream, and it just feels like he does that automatically. Like, he just has the optimal way to hit every pattern, and even if his accuracy might be a lot lower than yours, he is going to beat you if you don't get the combo, so you have to watch out for this player.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Kurumi here in open rank tournaments showing up again after what happened in OWC with FIA and the cheating drama and the result being invalidated and all of those things going on. It feels like once more vindication for the rest of the Chinese OWC roster who were not involved with the scandal that was. So very happy to see Kurumi popping off in this tournament, and I'm sure happy to see them popping off in other tournaments later on this year as we get into our top 5 placements now. See number 5. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dio. We've got
you got it.
Okay. We've got MCY4, another player who has just absolutely exploded recently. I think MCY has been really good for a while, but I think since OWC this year, he's just been on another level. We saw him for Hong Kong playing almost every map, playing extremely well, and you can see that reflects in these qualifier scores. He has a #1 placement in, or not #1 placement, 1-digit placement in every single mod pool, with that #3 on Nomad 4, #5 on Hidden 3, 7 on Hard Rock 1, 2 on Hard Rock 3, and #4 on DT1. He's just kind of a scary player. I think he kind of shows a little bit of weakness in the most gimmicky skill sets. If you count speed as a gimmick, I think that's a skill set he's not the best on. Obviously only 366k on Demystify Feast, not the best. Or 288k on that Hidden 2, but I think this is just another one of those all-around beasts that's just really hard to pick against. And he is 5th seed for a reason.
Yeah, this is... you pretty much said it. I mean, there's not very much that this player is bad at. You're definitely going to be looking at picking speed if you are into MCY4 or low approach rate reading for some players. But even then, the 288k on the map is still seed number 30 on the map overall. Thank you. So... there's really not much to pick into when it comes to MCY4, and with the overall difficulty of these map pools staying the same for the first couple of rounds, it's going to be tough for anybody to find things to pick into. That said, MCY4's initial matchup is InnerCamping, so...
oh my god.
That's seed 5 versus seed 12. That's a first round matchup, by the way. So, yeah, you know, it's going to be a tough matchup for both of them. That's all I have to say. That's all I've got to say about that one. Similarly, Lolo234's first matchup is Mustache. So
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what you get when you only qualify the top 16. You get these absurd first round matchups in round of 16. So good luck to both of them going into it. And now, good luck to our next player. Seed number 4 is Decayton. Played one of the latest lobbies for this tournament, but ended up with a very, very good seed at the end of it. 674k average score, the first of a couple who are around that 670k mark for average score. Number 8 on the hidden pool, number 3 on the hard rock pool, and number 4 on the DT pool. 3 single-digit overall pool placements, which is absurd. There are 5 single-digit map placements in those mods, and 2 more of them in no mod.
Yeah, Decayton has kind of become one of the premier 1v1 tourney players in the game. Obviously, I'm not looking at that no mod 1 score because I'm convinced that map is freaking cursed by now. But otherwise, like, if you look at these mod placements, as Dio mentioned, number 8 hidden, number 3 hard rock, number 4 DT. Like, what do you pick against this guy? Like, you can't like assume he's bad at no mod because he got rank 52, rank 69 on a couple maps. He got 8 and 9 on no mods 3 and 4. Like, he did that bad on those 2 picks, and he still got number 22 on no mod. Like, number 4, like if he improved those, he could have easily been in the top 3 or top 2 in terms of qualifying players. But otherwise, Taquito is there's just not much to say about him because we have all seen him at this point. He is one of the premier tourney players in this game and definitely a front runner for one of those 2 coveted spots to get into the main tournament.
Yeah, there's not much more to say about Taquito. I think people over the years have said all you can about this player. Extremely solid in terms of hidden reading, technical aim control as well, but has leveled up speed over the course of the last year and a half or so to the point where you can't even pick that into him. Number 4 on DT2 with what looks like a low-AC FC. Just absurd. He's just very, very good. There's not much else to say. Good luck to Taquito, by the way, against Nineric, who is probably still going to pick those speed maps and that no mod 2 into him to try and take some points off early rounds here in the round of 16. We got 3 more left miles, top 3. And I have a feeling seed number 3 is going to be very interesting to a lot of people. So let's get on to our seed number 3 in this tournament. It's Amamiya Kokoro, which is a name that I think a lot of people would not have expected to see this high up, formerly known as Nelitoru or Amakawa Hano. Rank 549 global, but on South Korea's OWC team last year, the team that got 2nd place and defeated both Canada and the United States in tiebreaker during the winners bracket. Single-digit mod placements on 3 mods, only DT showing any sign of real weakness for Amamiya Kokoro. Just extremely well-rounded player, and still number 17 on DT1 and number 19 on DT3. These are not bad scores.
Yeah, when you look at that South Korea team that managed to beat, I mean, on paper, when everyone was predicting OWC, everyone was saying, oh, it's Canada and the US. But when you look at the South Korea team that defeated both of those teams, you think of Karcher and Worst HR player, but arguably the 3rd player behind them was actually Amamiya Kokoro, but people were so hyper-focused on Karcher and Worst HR player that he was just doing his work in the background, and we can see it all reflect right here. Look at all of those scores. He was able to somehow beat out Taquito. You just have to think of that. Amamiya Kokoro beat out Taquito. This guy is so legit that it really cannot be explained any other way. Like, he's him.
Yeah, there's a lot you could say about this player. Has had really, really solid tournament performances for a long time, but I feel like this is the first time where I've really seen Amamiya Kokoro in a 1v1 especially pop off, get a good seeding, and really make an international name for himself. In 2022, I mean, the best placements that they had were in Konyo Cup 3 Division 2, not even in Division 1. And then in Korea regional tournaments as well. So there's, I think we're having a... Oh, no, never mind.
It's just a Discord stream.
Yep, all right, cool. Problems with the Discord stream, but doesn't matter. Carry on. Honestly, had a lot of kind of lackluster tournament performances, especially when it comes to the big open rank international events like Corsace, the Perennial. So had a tough time, I think, finding their footing, but eventually later on into the year started to really pop off, culminating in that OWC run. So I'm excited to see what they can do, especially given that their matchup is against someone like Bartek. Very good speed player, very good hidden player, but had tough scores on the no mods and hard rock. So I feel like this is going to be a battle of the specialist versus the all-rounder here, with Bartek versus Amamiya Kokoro respectively. So Very excited to see how the bracket shakes out for Amamiya Kokoro and how far they're able to get in this tournament, especially considering the caliber of the number 2 and number 1 seeds in this tournament.
Yeah, and that we are about to move on to them. Seed number 2, I'm pretty sure you all know this player. It is Zudinator. Number 1 on Kibeta Yo hand in hand. She is the one to have defeated the curse that somehow lays within that map. And we all know why. She has exploded in the last few years, just becoming even better and better the more tournaments we see her play. Going from maybe not the best player in 2020, pretty good in 21, really good last year, and then I think kind of peaking at this OWC, being the catalyst for Canada's deep run, being in for almost every pick, even eliminating her perennial weakness being speed. And even then, she did really well on speed, even getting number 9 on Final Answer, which was one of the lower scoring maps in the pool, getting 845k on Demystify Feast. Her weakest pool actually being Hard Rock, which surprises me, getting number 9 on the Hard Rock 1 still. But that is a pool that she can still access if she wants to. But the Nomad and Hidden pools are just where she reigns supreme. She is a player that is very scary and has proven many times that she can be effective in many different situations, beating speed players who try to speed abuse her. She's able to get through it. We saw it in Course Ace Closed, where she got top 2, only losing to Utami, I believe, which is just absolutely absurd. She is one of the premier tourney players in this game now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can say about Zudinator, but most of it has already been said. She is the best tournament player in Canada. She is one of the best well-rounded 1v1 tournament players in the game, has had just absurdly good tournament results for years at this point, winning the Course Ace Open this year, second place in the perennial, winning many other tournaments like North America Duo Tournament, regional Canadian tournaments all over the place, GAF when GAF was still running, second place badges in Course Ace and third place badges in OWC going years back. So this is a player who has the reputation and history of tournament performances to back up performances like this. And frankly speaking, she's going to need to make use of as much of it as she can if she's hoping to win this tournament, because the number 1 seed in this tournament, as I'm sure a lot of you have expected already, is Malashevsky. Number 2 in Poland, number 16 in the world, number 1 on 2 separate mod pools in both Nomad and Double Time, number 1 on 4 separate maps, Nomad 3, Nomad 4, DT1, and DT2 are all number 1 scores for Malashevsky. Number 3 and 4 on Nomad 1 and Nomad 2 as well. Malashevsky full comboed every single Nomad map. Full comboed DT1 and DT2, and had incredible runs on the vast majority of maps. I happened to watch his live stream while he was playing through the qualifiers, and for any maps that he did not already know, any maps that he had not already played, he was sight reading. He did not practice this pool. So this was done without practice. Sight reading Hidden 2, the AR8 perfect stack reading map with Hidden, and getting 530k. That's a sight read run. This player is just absurd. There's no other way to say it. Zudinator's average score is 690k. Swick's average score at seed number 16, the lowest qualifying player's average score, is 572k. That's a 120,000 average score difference, right? Well, Zudinator's average, again, 690k. Malashevsky averaged 845,000 score on this pool. That is a 155,000 average score difference. There's a larger difference in average score between Malashevsky and Zudinator than there is between Zudinator and Swick. There's a larger difference in average score between seeds 1 and 2 than between 2 and 16. This is an absurdly dominant qualifiers performance, and frankly speaking, from the time when Malashevsky ran his qualifiers, there was no question in any of the staff's minds that he would be the number 1 seed. That is how dominant it was, and how dominant it continues to be. this is the player to beat in this tournament, and the player to beat in any tournament this year, frankly speaking, after the 2022 that he had.
Yeah, honestly, you've basically tapped on all of it, but like we haven't seen a player as dominant as Malashevsky since Vaxei. And even when you try to compare him to Vaxei, like, could you even compare the peaks that the two of them had? Because Vaxei obviously was up against a much more primitive version of the tournament scene. Malashevsky is doing this sight reading against the most competitive the 1v1 tournament scene has ever been. You have all of these crazy super players who are extremely good at the game, and this guy who's like 14 years old and from Poland can just beat them all sight reading. Like,
yep.
He can beat them all sight reading. Like, what can we do against him? What can we do?
I don't know what else to say. This guy's crazy.
He will lord over us all.
This is the player to beat, and it's the player that Sweek has to go up against in round 1. So good luck, Sweek.
Good luck, Sweek. Good luck. I'm blessing you, Swick. You got this.
Good luck, Swick. All right. So that does it for the overall qualifier results. We are going to restart the laser client real quick so that we can show you all the overall bracket. You'll get a sense for exactly how the tournament's going to shape up, both in the winner's bracket, loser's bracket, and eventually with the last chance bracket as well. I know there's probably a couple of question marks about that. And then after that, we're going to get into the Mappool showcase, which again is going to be only about 20 minutes. We're not doing a full-length Mappool showcase. We're only spending about 1 minute per map to quickly touch on what the map is, why it's in the pool, and what it's doing, so that you can quickly get that information and get practicing the map pool.
Yeah, and with that, I'm going to be switching out for one of the map pooling people, Taikani. So I'm going to thank you for having me, Dio. Thank you all for watching the player reveal, and I hope you all enjoy the following map pool showcase.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, the results are on the sheet, and the schedules for players are on the main sheet. So if you do want to see those already, you can check out the schedules that are already on the sheet, and you can check out the qualifier results that are on the sheet. You can dive a little bit deeper into exactly what happened in the qualifiers with per map rankings for every single player there. And of course, players can take a look at their schedules and promptly type something in rescheduling. So we're going to be getting back to the bracket scene in just a moment, and after we do that, we'll swap out Miles for Takani and get going into the map pool showcase video. Just waiting on a cue from our from production before we get in there. Production. Okay. Wait, he says production says 1 second. So we'll be in shortly. I don't know, I'm still surprised about Amamiya Kokoro and Lolo234. Pleasantly surprised about how well they both did. Yeah. Miles, thoughts? Thoughts on the overall placement? Now that we've seen everybody. Now that we've seen everything.
Definitely a few surprises. Obviously, Amamiya Kokoro and Lolo234 take the cake for the biggest surprises in this qualifier. Obviously, getting rank 3 and rank 6 for them, nobody expected. I think people could have expected them to qualify, but getting that high is something that I'm not sure any of us really could have predicted. But nevertheless, it's going to be an interesting bracket because I'm pretty sure every single one of these matches has the potential to be pretty competitive in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited for a lot of the early matchups. I'm especially excited for matchups like Xylus Chicone and Henry Demonical. I think those are going to be really interesting matches. I'm also excited for Lolo234 versus Mustache, because I feel like both of them have had similar stories. Mustache already being high ranked and making his way slowly into, a better name for himself as a tournament player, and Lolo234 being relegated to quote-unquote rank-restricted tournament player until relatively recently. And finally, I think getting a lot of recognition for the skill that he has.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy bracket no matter what. And I think with that, I am going to be peacing out now.
Yeah, and we can switch over to our bracket. I'd like to welcome in Takani to discuss first the bracket and then the map pool showcase. How's it going, Takani?
It is going well. How are you, Dio?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to start off the tournament. So yeah, you can see all of our matches here. Malashevsky versus Sweek, and then Xylus Ciccone. So good luck to all those people in the top quadrant of the bracket. And then Keto versus Neneric, and MCY4 versus InnerCamping in that second quadrant.
Yeah. It is looking like it's such a stacked bracket, right? And you know you're seeing all these like surprise seeds that make this really interesting. I definitely wouldn't expect Amami or Kokoro to be third, right? Like,
yeah,
it makes the bracket a little more interesting than you might expect for a 1v1 tournament like this. I feel a lot of people think, you know, maybe 1v1's getting stale, and I think this kind of shows it doesn't have to be.
No, it's definitely not. Bottom half of the bracket as well is going to be very interesting. Zuninator, Reedcat, Enry, and Demonical all in the same quadrant. And then our two quote-unquote upset players who have really started showing up recently, Amamiya Kokoro, Bolo234, Bartek, and Mustache in the bottom quadrant of the bracket. So I'm really excited to see how those go. And with that, I think we can switch off the bracket and start getting into the Mappool showcase at Productions Leisure.
Very exciting stuff.
Oh, all right, we're resizing our video. We're right into it. No Mod 1 is going to be fake by Ferriquidus. I think we're needing to get some audio here playing on the video.
While we wait for that, let's talk about the map a little. This is your very standard raw aim Nomad 1. It's 210 BPM. For the most part, it is like literally exactly what you'd expect. It's just big aim, almost crust screen on some of these jump patterns. And you also saw right there was a really just funny slider pattern that I'm expecting someone to break on right before the last Ki.
Yeah. This map is a little bit awkward at pretty much all times throughout the showcase, and that's part of the reason why we wanted it. We have a couple of really comfortable maps in some of the other jump slots, so having a little bit of awkward aim in that No Mod 1 really handles it well for us. Thanks to Nanoya for the replay. And now on to No Mod 2. It's 115 by Kevin Sherwood, mapped by Fiery Rage and Tynamo. Originally a perennial custom from 2021. This is just 200 BPM stream, flow aim, and stamina, and that is pretty much all that's in here. There's a couple of jumps here and there in this map, but none of them are very high spacing, and this is really where the main difficulty comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a No Mod 2 through and through. It is that exact like stream player test. I don't think there's going to be many surprises on this map. The players who are good at streams will perform well on it. The players who are bad at streams won't, and it's just that simple with a map like this.
Yeah, overall, I think this is to be expected for the No Mod 2s for most players, and this is generally what players have come to expect in the No Mod 2 role. It's something that slow players will not be able to play very well, but that pure stamina players, pure speed players will still need their flow aim for in a map like this, which is exactly the niche that you want it to hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now for the No Mod 3, it's going to be Pirate's Banquet by Maoki Yamamoto. It's Abe's Captain difficulty on this set. Big thanks to Lucrece for this replay as well. This is the alt pick.
What an alt pick it is. 146 BPM. For some players, I think this would still remain single tappable for them if they so choose. This is kind of an older style alt map actually, so what you're seeing is a lot of consistently spaced patterns that you see in those kinds of alt maps that you don't really see as often anymore. For the most part, it is just flow aim, pure flow aim for 2 minutes.
That said, there are a couple of sort of wonky patterns there. There's that slider stream, there's the 1/6 burst, there's the back and forth wiggles, there's a further wiggle and polygonal shapes in this map, so there are still things to keep you on your toes, but yeah, a lot of this map definitely that high spacing, low variance flow aim that you've come to expect from older alt maps. And that'll lead us pretty well into a tech map that doesn't have that sort of flow aim in it. Valhalla Zero by Juggernaut, the collab extra difficulty. This replay by Jamara is going to show us a couple of streams at first, and then some really, really tricky slider aim and finger control going into the last part of this first KI time.
Yeah, this is honestly the definitive Nomad 4. It's got its fast, tricky, slider aim and aim control elements along with those tapping elements. It is just like the Nomad 4 to have here.
Yeah, I think tech players will be pretty happy with this one. Yes, it's 200 BPM. Yes, there's a couple streams, but none of them are really stamina intensive. And a lot of the flow aim in this is very different from the flow aim in the Nomad 3. There's a lot of cut streams and snappier flow aim streams in this map compared to the really high flow aim focus on the Nomad 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's going to bring us into our last Nomad pick. It's Chrono Diver Nornir by LED. Just another difficulty. This is one where we actually have a Score V1 replay. The Score V2 play that we got did not actually work before rendering the video, so we grabbed one from the leaderboard, and, well, this map is difficult to read. This is AR7 and CS5 with lots of variable timing for the same spacing. Lots of cut streams, lots of both doubles and single taps that look like they're the same spacing. This is a really, really difficult test to read.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not as many overlaps as you generally expect for a reading map like this, but there's still enough just to keep you on your toes, and you're seeing there's a lot of doubles. This map loves its doubles, and it loves playing with the idea of whether this double is 1/4 or 1/2, and it will throw you off.
Yeah, very, very tricky map in that way. It's something that if you practice it, you can get really good at, but if you don't, good luck reading it. Similarly, this is one that is also probably going to require some practice. It's another AR9 hidden one with a lot of really awkward aim. None of the overlaps that you would expect from a reading pick, and relatively awkward stuff. A little more awkward than the Nomad one, that's for sure. Tons of anti-aim patterns that force you to adjust cursor velocity really quickly in this map.
100%. The key eyes are 100% the thing to watch out for in this map. They are so much harder than the verses, and you have to be completely on your toes for them, because they will catch you so off guard so quickly if you're not paying exact attention to what you're doing, especially on this AR9.
Yeah, this map does have its quote-unquote farm jump aim near the end as well. You'll be seeing that shortly, but most of it is that awkward aim that you see here. Not a lot of streams in this map, though there are a couple here and there. Most of the players who qualified should be able to play those streams relatively comfortably. And there you go with the big back and forth jumps, your sentimental skyscraper jumps as well in this pick. And yeah, if it's not clear this is the aim pick, I don't know what will make it clearer, because that is a lot of really difficult aim. And here we go into the low AR hidden pick. This is a much more straightforward pick than the Nomad 5, mostly because it has the hidden mod on. This is going to be relatively similar to the hidden one in that it is awkward aim, but this is a lot longer. You have to be very, very consistent with your low approach rate reading in this map. Not to mention, this does have way more overlaps than something like the hidden one.
Yeah, this Hidden Sioux is a pretty standard classic Russian map. You're seeing a lot of that geometry take hold in its patterning, and that is honestly really, really hard to play on low AR hidden. And it's something that's going to catch you off, especially with how long this map is. It is so brutal to continually play these patterns over and over. And that's going to be where the main challenge of the map comes from compared to the awkward aim of Hidden 1, which is more just spacing control, right? So it's that geometry that's really going to catch you on this map.
Not to mention some of the overlaps with variable timing gaps between them, like we just saw there. So again, reading consistency, geometric aim consistency in that one. And now on to one that's focused all on the flow aim. It's Shime by Lopix, mapped by Fairy. This is just a disgusting flow aim challenge. There's not much more to say about this. There's a couple of slider patterns here and there, but it's really not the main focus, and anybody breaking on the sliders is probably breaking on them because of the flow aim patterns beforehand, because that's really where this map will get you, and we'll start to see that here in the last quarter.
Absolutely. This map also kind of breaking from the flow aim idea a little bit. I think this map's favorite pattern is this this pattern where there's two sets of doubles, and one of them is reversed. And that is going to catch you off guard if you're thinking it's only flow aim. There's still a little bit of that snap aim in there. You have to be careful, or you will go down on those cut doubles.
Yeah, and you can see all the sliders in this very, very comfortable. It's all about the kind of snappy changes in aim control and flow aim in that map. And now, for the Hidden Four, we have something that's more akin to a proper tech map. Maybe not quite as heavy on the slider aim as Nomad 4, but something that still makes good use of it alongside some of these really snappy changes in cursor velocity, XL, decel streams, cut streams all over the place. A lot more variation in what the streams look like in this pick, and a lot more variation in how you can break on the sliders.
Absolutely. I will say it's just ever so slightly awkward as well, so you gotta have to watch out for that. This map is not very easy at all, especially with Hidden upping the stakes.
Yeah, this map's also 4 minutes, by the way. This is a relatively long pick, so if you are not consistent at multiple different sections of this map, which all vary in what they do, the type of difficulty, where it comes from, all of that type of stuff, you're going to have a bad time on this map. This is a very, very tricky pick, and something that I think a lot of people are going to have a tough time of, especially in the first half, where you get really, really tough aim control all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Also just got that amazing song buff.
Yeah, definitely song buff on this one. Song buff on a couple of them. I'm not too sure about this one, but this is a classic song, Squartatrice, GMTN versus Kozato. This is mapped by a pretty much completely unknown mapper, though. As of right now, this map has 31 plays on it, and this was a custom map for another tournament in Fremod, but works very, very well as a Hard Rock 1 pick. Basically all aim consistency and flow aim consistency in this map as well. Lots of short bursts and streams to keep you on your toes while you are dealing with very, very high spacing jumps.
Yeah, absolutely. It is 180 BPM, which I do believe is the lowest BPM for all of the aim picks within this pool. So if you want something that you know, leans a little less on the speed aim side of things, I would absolutely go with this pick. But you're seeing right here, you know, there's still a lot of a tapping element to this. You're seeing a lot of, you know, doubles on sliders and these stacks. Like, it's still a pretty brutal map tapping-wise.
Yeah, and much like the other aim consistency maps, about that consistency as well. 4 minutes on this pick. 2 minutes on this one, which is a proper banger. Night Rider by Usao, RLC's extra difficulty. This is on Cubby's map set, but it's the same RLC difficulty you're all familiar with. CS 6.5 light tech bursty consistency for this one.
Yeah, honestly, this is the classic RLC map. You're going to see in just a second just how many kick sliders are used in this map, and that's going to be the main defining factor and the main thing that keeps you on your toes as far as precision goes. Kick sliders makes that precision so much harder. And, you know, you're also seeing, like, a couple cut streams here and there. It's definitely some old tech. You know, a lot more aim than tech. At least what we consider tech nowadays. But it definitely keeps you on your toes, especially as a precision map.
Yeah, you can't just be good at one thing in this map. You have to have a couple of other skills there with you to be able to play this map well. As it looks like the video buffers again. Oh, that's a large skip. All right. Well, anyway, that's okay. A lot of people know this map already. I'm sure we didn't miss too much on it. It's a lot of the same in this map, but that's what makes it a good tournament pick, is that it's very consistent. Much like this one in its difficulty. Alt Future by Silent Room, Noah's Kreisfaber. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but whatever. Aim control and finger control is the name of the game in this one. This pulls off the aim control, finger control special without being too focused on speed. There are quite a few 1-6 in this map, but there's a lot of finger control that's dependent just on the 1-4 rhythms.
Yeah, this map was actually made for the old monthly beat mapping contest ran by the OSU staff. The challenge for this one was to make a map using circles only And so what you're seeing here is the culmination of that, the aim control coming from the big snaps on the circles representing the song, as well as the 1-6 causing a large finger control element. I would say there's a slight stamina pressure too. You don't really have sliders to relax on. This map is brutal through and through.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a very difficult pick, and I think one that, much like the Hard Rock 3 in qualifiers, we're going to see a relatively low average score on. I think this one's a little bit more consistent in difficulty, so that might boost the average scores a bit. But this one's going to be relatively difficult. This map, though, I think is going to be a fan of, or a lot of people are going to be a fan of this. Goreshit map, 230 BPM in Hard Rock. This is the speed Hard Rock map. We decided to vary where we put the speed map outside of DT in these map pools. Some weeks it'll be in Hard Rock, some weeks it'll be in Hidden, some weeks it'll be in No Mod. And we wanted to give kind of variation to what those speed maps outside the DT pool test. This one, a lot of awkward aim, a lot of aim control focused on, can you actually aim stuff right after hitting all of the bursts and streams in this pick, as well as really older style geometric aim in this map.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this map was actually made back in 2013, which is really weird for a speed map. You don't see that super often. And, it's got a lot of those bursts, and the sliders are really fast. The sliders are way faster than they look, honestly. So, they're going to provide that slight challenge that you may not be expecting for a speed map. And, I mean, that's honestly what you'd like to see for a speed map in Hard Rock. But that's all we have of that map as we move into DT1.
Yeah, it's Torikago by Yosei Teikoku, the Amura difficulty by Nagi Hisakawa, favorite map of one of our poolers, Jamara, and that is why it's going to be our DT1 for this stage. Lots of other maps that we could have put in, but this is a map that does what we need it to do. AR 10.3 aim consistency. A bit of a speed gate in this map, but honestly not that much. If you are a competent GT aim player, you're going to be familiar with this type of map, and you're not going to have that much trouble with the speed. All it is just a couple of bursts here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 258 BPM, as you said, but for the most part, the aim really is going to be the challenge. It's kind of that older style anime kind of map, where it's slightly awkward unintentionally, but for the most part, you're playing the jumps and hitting the bursts. That's all there really is to this map.
And now on to our DT2. It seems that we're having some... okay. There we go. Now on to our DT2. It's Arifureto Sekai Seifuku by Pinocchio P, mapped by Bad Map Maker. AR10 OD10 Speed Streams is the name of the game for this map. 225 BPM, so a little bit slow, I think, for a lot of speed players, but something that is still going to gate players who are not super well versed in speed because of the length of the streams in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stamina pick at the end of the day. These streams are so long. I remember one, I think, somewhere in the middle of the map that just looked absolutely brutal, somewhere around like 60 notes, I think. It's such a hard stamina pick, even if it's not super challenging on the speed front, and we'll get into the speed front in just a second, but the stamina on this map is going to be the downfall of so many players, especially players like Zudinator who maybe aren't so accustomed to this kind of stamina.
Yeah, so good luck to any of the non-speed players trying to mash their way through that one, or through the next one. It's Dice by Bandmade. I think everybody knows this map. This is a relatively well-known pick. Very stock standard sort of DT3. Relatively high star rating for this pool. I think this gets buffed like really, really highly. 7.58 stars. Target star rating for this pool was 7 flat, but we think it fits. 270 BPM, AR10 DT, and OD 9.8. There's not a lot to say about this pick, honestly.
Yeah, it's a classic speed map. It's 270 BPM. It is brutal. It's the burst speed. This is the speed aspect of the DT pool. It's absolutely brutal compared to that DT2 stamina. This is that pure speed, and there's just a lot of 1/4. It does not let you take a single break.
So good luck to everybody trying to play this one. But I think a lot of speed players are going to be pretty familiar with this. There's somebody in chat saying free 600 earlier, so I think people will be pretty familiar with this pick. Maybe not so with this one, though. This is XS by Rina Sawayama. But this is not the Corsace difficulty. This is the XL difficulty. CS0 AR 10.5 aim control.
Yeah, the high AR is definitely going to be what catches a lot of players off here. I mean, we have a couple players in this tournament who can read AR 11, but I mean, 10.5, especially with these big circles, is going to be a source of a lot of uncomfort for a lot of people. And you're even seeing it in this replay, seeing Spicy drop a couple 100s here and there. It's a very, very hard map.
Yeah. Both the high AR reading and the sheer cursor velocity required for this make it relatively difficult. The fact that it's CS0 means you have to have really high distance patterns to get any spacing whatsoever on a map like this. And, well, Ascended pulled it off. And now for the tiebreaker, last map in the pool, it's Iberocobuta, the Fortissimo diff by Lance Cosmico. This is a variable BPM map focused mostly on alt-aim, finger control, aim consistency. I think the only thing that's not in here is stream stamina. I think that's about it. I think that's the only thing that might not be in this map.
Yeah,
oh, never mind. I lied.
Right.
There you go. There's the speed.
A lot of this map does rely on a pretty heavy flow aim element that you'll see in a lot of the patterning. This map loves its flow aim.
Yeah, we've got a couple of minutes for this one. I believe this is about 2 minutes long for this clip because there's a lot of stuff going on in this map. And that's kind of what you want in a tiebreaker. Yes, this map primarily relies on the flow aim elements, on the aim control elements, on the alt BPM stuff. But there is a lot going on here. There's a lot of snap aim, as we saw earlier. There's a couple of speed sections here and there. There's a bit more going on than immediately meets the eye with this map as well, given all the BPM changes that go on in this song.
Yeah, most of this map does hover around a static 180 BPM, but there is those weird BPM changes that'll catch you off.
And by the way, for anybody wanting to check out the map pool for yourselves, it is already on the main sheet now that we revealed all of the maps. Those maps are unhidden. There's a map pack available for players to start practicing. Hope you're all ready to go for this weekend. I'm ready to see some matches go to tiebreaker on something like this. I'm really excited, honestly, with the matches that I think might go to tiebreaker to see this get played, because I think most of them will be very close.
Absolutely.
And that is going to do it for us and the map pool showcase. As we talked about, all of the qualifier results and statistics are on the main sheet. Schedules are out. Map pools are out. And that is everything that we have for you today. For anybody interested in the schedules, our first match is set to start at 11 UTC on Saturday, January 28th. And each week of the tournament will be one round for those of you who might be a little bit new to watching OSU tournaments. So the round of 16 will be next weekend. And then in 2 weekends, we'll have the quarterfinals, 3 weekends, the semifinals, 4 weekends, the finals, 5 weekends, the grand finals. And 1 week after that will be the last chance bracket to decide the second person to go to LA. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you to Connie for joining me. And thank you to Miles for being around for the Map Pool Showcase. We will see you all next weekend for the round of 16 matchups.
Of course. Good luck to the 16 qualified players. We're very excited to have you. Welcome to the Roundtable Qualifiers tournament, and genuinely good luck on qualifying for the Roundtable as the bracket basically starts now.
And there it is. I think that's all we have for you today. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next weekend.